Captain Dean Show.
Welcome back to another episode of the Captain Dean Show. I am Captain Dean, and on this episode, we're going to take a little turn and talk about a guitar. I bought this guitar in 2006, and the reason why is because my brother and I, when we were kids, along with my cousin Mike, we had this really goofy, silly band called Cerebral Metal. And Brad and I had a conversation at Christmas of 2005. I was like, wouldn't it be funny if we went into a real professional recording studio, and now that we're advanced musicians at that age that we were at the time, and dig up those old songs we wrote when we were kids and record them professionally. And that is exactly what we did. Well, at the time, Brad had a guitar and a bass, and of course I was a full-time drummer during that era, but I also had a bass, but my brother is a very professional bass player, so I wasn't going to play bass on any of the stuff to begin with. But we were both going to take turns playing guitar. So I had a guitar, I striped it like Eddie Van Halen's Van Halen 1 with the black and white stripes. But Brad eventually got it from me because he wanted it, and I just, at that point, didn't need a guitar, I guess, whenever I sold it to him. Well, fast forward to 2006. We go into the studio in January of 2006 and start recording these songs. And it ended up becoming 3 albums worth of material because we wrote that many songs when we were kids. So I thought, I need to go get a guitar for myself, and that's exactly what I did. And lo and behold, it is this very guitar. If I can get it off the wall here. So, this is a 2005 Squier Affinity Stratocaster. I have painted this guitar at least 30 times, maybe even more than that, ever since I got it. When I originally bought it at Musicians Pro, by the way, which is another Bowling Green music store that I think they shut their doors a couple of years ago. But that store opened probably in the mid-90s, and I was a very loyal customer to them. They mainly had PA equipment, guitars, basses. They didn't have a lot of drum stuff, but if I needed drumsticks and stuff, I could get it from them. So this guitar was like an electric blue color, and it had the 3 single coil pickups, and it's got a whammy bar. So fast forward to the year 2024, I was very hooked onto the Blink-182 fandom, and big fan again of Gear 182 and 182 News Pod, and all this stuff was just coming at me mainly through Instagram, and I fell hook, line, and sinker and finally said, I want a Tom DeLonge guitar as well. But of course mine came with a whammy bar, so I have to settle with that. But I finally came around and decided to paint this and get the proper pick guard. Thankfully, my bandmate, Nate Miles, had this very pick guard and just gave it to me. He's kind of like me. He likes to tinker around and build stuff, and he's heavily into Blink-182. And I don't know why he had this, but maybe he bought it and just didn't need it. But he just gave it to me. So thank you, Nate. I found this particular pickup on Amazon, and I think I only paid like 15 bucks for it, and it sounds really good. I don't own a guitar amp, but when I do plug it in and hook it up to some sort of distorted guitar kind of pedal thing, it sounds great. But I am a terrible guitar player. At one point in my life, I was seeking to be a full-time guitar player, but that was around elementary school, junior high. And then after that, I just kind of focused mainly on bass and drums, and that's where I went. So I can't even begin to start with how many times I've painted this thing. It has been striped black and white like a Van Halen. At one point, my brother and I had matching guitars. And we were so cute. And after all of that cerebral metal recording session stuff came to an end, I ended up just having this guitar laying around. And at one point, I was working with a young artist named Andrea Guess. And we were playing country music and a little bit of modern country music. I played drums for her for quite a few years. And at one point, I painted this green with a yellow pickguard and made it a John Deere guitar. And she actually used it on stage a couple of times, and that was funny. I made it a Dukes of Hazzard guitar one time. It was orange with an 01 on the pickguard, and I can't even begin to think how many different times I've painted this thing. It's been white, it's been scuffed up white, it's been black, it's been, what else have I done to it? I don't think I ever did anything super over the top, maybe purple at one point. I'm really not sure. I've really lost count. I've painted this thing a lot. It almost became like a practice thing for me. As I was getting better and better at painting like Van Halen guitars or just painting guitars in general, this basically became the guitar body that I used for practicing on. And anyway, the body, the bridge, and the neck are all original to it. The pickguard has been changed many times over the years due to being, I painted the original one. At one point, I had 2 humbuckers in it, and just various different styles over the years. So I finally fell hard for all the stuff that was being posted online, and I was like, I too need a Tom DeLonge inspired guitar, because of course it goes well with my Blink-182 corner over here, which is really cool. And drumming wise, I do have a pair of Travis Barker's Zildjian drumsticks hanging up there. So it's not all about Tom and Mark, it's about all three of them. I love this band, and I love what all of you guys out there do. I absolutely love seeing everything that gets posted on Gear 182, and especially on like the 182 news site, House 95 Guitars. There's just so many sources out there of people that are so inspired by Tom DeLonge to build Tom DeLonge guitars. Of course, the Strats are fairly easy, but when you get into the Gibsons and the hollow bodies and now the Starcasters and everything, the custom work that you guys are doing out there is just absolutely awesome, and I love it. I love seeing it. This is what I decided to go with. I found a coral paint can at my local Ace Hardware, which is just right around the corner from my work, and I grabbed one can and just sanded it down, painted the whole body, and that's what I ended up getting out of it. I didn't clear coat it because the body is so beat up from all the years of being painted. It would take a lot of work for me to fill in all of this with wood putty and all that stuff. So this is what I decided to do instead of doing some sort of replica. Again, I didn't want a yellow, I didn't want a surf green, I didn't want a blue, I didn't want to make a Padre, I didn't want to kind of do any of the stuff that he had. I just wanted to do something cool. I have seen guitars out there very similar to this one in color. There's orange and just that off reddish orange kind of look to it. And somebody out there did post one that looked pretty identical to mine as far as the color goes. So I know I'm not alone in this world. But anyway, this is my version of a Tom DeLonge guitar Stratocaster. And I love it. I do use it to work on writing songs. I'm really a terrible guitar player. I can't play leads worth of shit, but I can play regular chords. And that is what helps me write songs. And every now and then I will pick up the guitar just to have a different angle on songwriting instead of writing on bass all the time. But anyway, thank you, Nate, for the pick guard. Thank all of you out there for the inspiration. Gear 182, House 95 guitars, just so much out there to look at and be inspired by. And of course, thank you, Tom DeLonge, for giving us just great guitars. And, you know, I'm a big fan, and I appreciate the inspiration that you've given me and everybody out there. And unlike that one guy, I may kind of look like Tom right now, but I am not trying to be Tom. I am Captain Dean, and this is my Tom DeLonge Stratocaster.
This is my 2005 Squier Affinity electric guitar. It was electric blue with a triple single coil pickup configuration, traditional Stratocaster look. The only thing original to this guitar at this point would be the bridge, the input jack plate, and the neck and the body. Everything else has been replaced super many times. I honestly have painted this guitar easily 30 times or more since 2006 when I bought it. It was brand new at Musicians Pro, and I used it maybe 6 months or a year until I started to strip it and paint it. Even though it's not completely authentic to being a Tom DeLonge Stratocaster, because it could have a whammy bar on it, I do not have a whammy bar for it, and the springs on the back are tightened really tight so that there's no movement on the bridge when I play it. This is a knockoff pickup to replicate Tom's pickup. I got this off Amazon for a whopping $15. I went with the coral color paint because I didn't want to do a replica of anything that Tom used to use back in the day. I did think about putting racing stripes on it, but instead of doing that, I just found a guitar strap that had a stripe on it. So that got pretty close, and I love it. I use it for songwriting. Every now and then I'll plug it into a little pedal and get a little distortion out of it. And I'm not much of a guitar player, but I do love to play my guitar. This is the only one I own.